Shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel. First and foremost, before I get into my lesson, I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great millstone that teach and that rule well today. And salutation also to the fellow laborers that's in the ministry and the believers that scatter worldwide in all truth and sincerity, day in and day out. Once again, I'm the brother Shaquat Gabar, coming at you with another quick lesson. And right before I get into this lesson, this message or these videos goes out to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible, and also to the Israelite foreigners that scattered amongst the heathen nations and that may take on a physical appearance or look of another nation. But if your bloodline goes back to Negro, Latino, or Native American descent by the seed of your father, you are considered an Israelite as well. Shalom. So basically, I'm just going to get into a quick lesson, going into, basically this is going to be a video, Revelation chapter 6, okay, breakdown, okay, when it comes to, the whole chapter, okay, which is, the time of more and more prophecy, okay, as we're approaching the time of who the world ignorantly call Christ, okay, which his true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, meaning he is the deliverer, okay, and start with the Heavenly Father name in the Hebrew, who the world ignorantly call God, okay, his name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, meaning he is or he exists, okay. So that's why, we open up by giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, okay. But now we coming into time approaching Yahweh Shai's second coming, which is going to lead to the salvation of the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3 being delivered, okay, from out of America mainly, okay, even though the elect is going to be delivered worldwide, according to Matthew the 24th chapter, verses 29 through 31. But this where the main deliverance is going to take place here in America, because that's where this place, okay, where the main destruction is going to take place by the way of this place America being destroyed by the way of thermonuclear missiles at the peak of the Third World War, okay, and like I say, leading to the time of Yahweh Shai's second coming and the hosts of angels, what the world call UFOs, okay, the chariots, the vehicles of the angels, and salvation of the elect. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it, and I pray that this lesson is edifying. So once again, Revelation chapter 6, starting at verse 1. And it says, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and it's going into John the Revelator, okay, as he received the revelation, the book of Revelation, okay, during the time of him being exiled, okay, on the with the island of Patmos, okay, during the time of Roman persecution, and he received these revelations or revelation, the book of Revelation, to give us in the times to have what we have in the times now, to know what we have, to have the truth, to know the times that we're in now, okay. And it says, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, okay, the Lamb represent Yahweh Shai, okay, because he been that sacrifice, okay, for the nation of Israel that went to the cross and eventually was crucified and resurrected after 3 days, okay, and to the point that he was, went back into the spiritual realm, okay. So now we waiting on Yahweh Shai to return to make his second coming, okay. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it was the noise of thunder, one of the fourth beasts saying, come and see. Okay, going into the angels, giving John the revelation, okay, or the visions, okay. And it says, and I saw, and behold, a white horse, okay, and he that sat on him had a bow, and his white horse representing Yahweh Shai, okay. When it comes to the chariots, okay, well, like I said, what the world called UFOs, okay, because some people, when they read the scriptures, okay, and they don't have the spiritual eyesight or spiritual discerning, okay, when it comes to verse 2, when it comes to the white horse, they actually thinking that Yahweh Shai is going to come back, okay, or who the world called Christ, Yahweh Shai is going to come back on a white horse, okay, literally, okay, like with the Greek mythologists, what Pegasus, okay, when it comes to the horse with, the white horse with the wings, okay, now that's a myth, okay, the white horse represent the chariots, okay, what the world called UFOs, because when you look into verse 2, white horse, okay, the word white represent pure, and horse in the scriptures, okay, sometimes it can be taught about literally a physical horse as the animal itself, okay, but this is symbolic when it comes to this word horse here, okay, power, okay, because a horse is known for its power, okay. Hey, the term today when it comes to vehicles, okay, don't they have the term when it comes to the vehicles, engines, horsepower, okay. And so when it comes to the horse here in this chapter, okay, in particular the white horse, okay, going into the pure power that Yahweh Shai is going to return with by the way of those angelic beings of the chariots, the vehicles of the chariots, okay, the angels, okay, the so-called UFOs, the spaceships, okay. And I saw and behold a white horse, okay, pure power, okay, Yahweh Shai, and the angels, and he that sat on him had a bow, okay, and the bow representing the Lord bringing destruction, bringing war, okay, by the way of the chariots, bringing fire as well at the peak of the Third World War, because Yahweh Shai is going to intervene when it comes to this Third World War, when it comes to the nations, okay, he's going to, all these nations are going to stop fighting against each other and turn their attentions against Yahweh Shai and the angels, and Yahweh Shai is going to bring war against these nations, okay, by the way of those the concentrated fire coming out of the chariots, okay, that's what the bow represent, okay, and it says, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer, okay, because once Yahweh Shai returned to wage war and bring war to the heathen nations, start with the biblical Edomites, the so-called white race, okay, these mainly the elites, and on down to the heathen nations, they got their military force, okay, all that's going to be destroyed, okay, and eventually after everything's set, okay, once this place America be destroyed, because simultaneously while Yahweh Shai is going to be returning to deliver the elect, okay, the missiles going to be launched, okay, courtesy to Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, okay, and as it's prophesied, it's going to destroy this place America, okay, and the only ones that's going to be delivered from out of that destruction is the elect, because 2/3 of so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, according to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8, okay, is going to be judged by the way of those missiles, especially those that take that RFID microchip, which is known as the mark of the beast, okay, according to Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, okay, and it says, and so they're going to be destroyed right along with the rest of these heathens, starting with Esau, Edom, here in America, okay, but the thing about it, the 2/3 that perish on this side or in this lifetime, they're going to come back in the kingdom, being the sons and daughters of the elect, which is reincarnation, okay, and the ones of these heathen nations that perish on this side or in this lifetime, okay, and they're going to come back in the kingdom being slaves, because that's the future of these heathen nations, okay, captivity or slavery, okay, up on us, the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, okay, once Yahweh Shai established the kingdom, okay, here on the earth, okay, in the land of Israel, which by the way, the land of Israel going to be cleansed by the way of missiles as well, by fire, because the people that's over there are not the original inheritors, okay, when it comes to those phonies, and that land's going to be cleansed by the way of fire, just for it to be rightfully owned again by the true inhabitants, okay, okay, or inheritors, okay, Israel, okay, which happen to be so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans descent today, okay, but starting with Yahweh Shai, establishing the kingdom with the elect, okay. Verse 3, Revelation chapter 6, verse 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And they went out another horse, okay, once again, horse representing power, that was red, okay, in this case going into the biblical Edomites, the so-called white race, okay? And when you know, because their true nationality is Esau or Edom, okay? The word Esau meaning wasted it away, okay? And the word Edom, okay, when as a nation means red, okay? Because their blood show forth through their skin due to the lack pigmentation, okay, which is leprosy, okay, which they are known as clean lepers, okay, which is a curse, okay. So they are the curse of the earth, okay. That's how we identify today many characteristics of who all the biblical Edomites are, okay, according to the ruling today, okay. Once again, because horse represent power, and it says, and there went out another horse that was red, okay, Esau, Edom, power structure, especially now that they're trying to forge the NWO, okay. And it says being backed up by the technology, and it swore as it's going to continue on, because the blessing that Esau received is the sword, okay. That's how he conquered the whole earth at this time, okay. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And so the Lord gave Esau Edom power, okay, when it comes to the left hand side of Yahweh Shema Shai, okay, because Esau Edom represent the wicked, okay, or the sinister side of Yahweh Shema Shai when it comes to the left hand side. Because contrary to popular belief, who the world calls God, okay, Yahweh Shema Shai created all things, both good and evil, okay. And when it comes to evil or wickedness, Esau Edom, okay, is the physical counterpart of wickedness here on the earth, man, okay, under the spiritual demon Satan, okay. With Satan, it's an angel on the left hand side that do the bidding, okay, of Yahweh Shema Shai, okay. And at this time, Esau Edom, okay, coming after the workings of Satan, okay. And it says, and it says, and to give him that set thereon to take peace from the earth. And we seeing that now, how corrupt the earth is now, okay, due to the wicked that's ruling, okay. And it says, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword, okay, that great sword, okay. Esau Edom military might at this time, the AI, okay, the biological weapons, okay, the troops, okay, you know, GMO food, okay, the heart machine, weather modification, satellites or towers causing these, storms, okay. That's part of Esau Edom blessing as the sword, okay, to take peace from the earth, okay. And you see them warring against each other, okay, when it comes to these nations, in particular, these Edomite nations that are being divided now. Okay, you're seeing, America being divided. Okay, you're seeing Europe being divided, NATO, the beast system. Okay, Russia, which Russia is not part of the beast, but they're Edomites, and they're one of the superpowers of Esau Edom. They have advanced military. Okay, when it comes to their weapons and their missiles. Okay, the archery. Okay, and Lord gonna really set these Edomites up to destroy each other, okay, by the way of the missiles, in particular this place, America. And it says, continue on. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see, and beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Okay, this black horse representing the captivity of the nation of Israel, okay, in particular here in America, okay, because this place is known as our captivity, okay, and then history don't prove that, the enslavement of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay, and that's what the pair of balance represent, okay, our captivity, okay, because we're going to be a point in time that we have to be in captivity under the curses, okay, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 68, okay, and being up on the subject, up under Esau, Edom, and these heathens, okay, but now we coming to the end, okay, of our captivity, okay, knowing that, how we know that, due to the nation of Israel waking up, and his word being pushed, okay, but mainly the elect, okay, and leading to ultimately Yahweh Shai coming back to redeem us, okay. And I heard a voice in the midst of the fourth beast saying, measure the wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil or the wine. Okay, and it's going into also is on the penny representing famine. Okay, the penny represent the denaro. Cause back in the time of the ancient Roman Empire, okay, the penny or their coins were known as the denaro. Okay, and and back then, it went into inflation. Okay, a lot of the denaros been, which would have been silver. Okay, a lot of it was tainted. Okay, leading to false weight. Okay, a measurement. Okay, so in this time, the denaro can look into the dollar. Okay, which is on the verge of crashing, as this place America experiencing inflation. Okay, soon to be hyperinflation. Okay, the dollar devaluing. Okay, but they're going to take more dollars. Okay, to buy certain products. Okay, or financially, which eventually going to lead to the dollar crashing. Okay, and these elites pushing forth more and more the NWO, or bringing the cashless society in the form of the CBDCs, okay, or digital bank currencies, which all that's going to tie into the RFID microchip, okay. And it says, and measure the wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, okay, going into inflation. And see thou hurt not the oil or the wine, and the oil and the wine, okay, also represent the truth, okay. And when it comes to the men of Yahweh Shem Shai, or the prophets, okay, when it comes to the elect, understanding this truth, okay, and that's why you're seeing the elect waking up, okay. And so the oil and wine represent the truth. And it says, and when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. Yeah, death and hell, when it comes to this pale horse, okay, coming to the time of famine, okay, pestilence, okay, uproars of the people, civil unrest, okay, race wars, clash wars, okay. And so this is one of the plagues, okay, or many, okay, when it says death and hell, okay, hell representing death, the grave, or low condition, or strays, man, okay. So that's what it's going into, okay. And it says, and power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth, and the 4th part of the earth representing this place America, okay, because right before this place was known as being America, which was named after Amerigo Vespucci, okay, this place was known as the 4th part of the world, okay, or the uttermost part, okay, of the earth, as the scripture says, man, okay, or the north, okay, the north country, as the scriptures also says, okay. So the 4th part, or the ends of the world, okay, the 4th part representing America, okay. And it says, and to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth, okay. And that's what we about to witness here in America, a total collapse and anarchy and judgment, okay. Like I say, martial law, okay, detention centers, famine, pestilence, natural disasters, a teeth of wild beasts, okay, civil unrest, etc. And ultimately, this place being destroyed by the way of missiles, okay. Okay, as we're approaching the time of this place collapse and destruction. Verse 9, and when he had opened the 4th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and for the testimony which they held. Okay, going into certain members of the elect that's going to be martyrs. Okay, that's going to, that have at this time died in the faith. Okay, and those that's in the near future that being martyrs, okay, dying in the faith for not taking that RFID microchip. Okay, John saw that. Okay, when it comes to Revelation 20, verse 4, those that was beheaded. Okay, when it comes to not taking that MOTB or the RFID micro. Okay, when it comes to the times that we're in now. Okay, and so those that die in the faith, okay, they're gonna be the first ones risen up. Okay, when Yahweh shall return to gather the rest of the elect, because all the elect, okay, that present at this time, okay, those that's not going to taste of death, that's going to remain until the end, until Yahweh shall return to gather all the elect. Okay, start with those that die in the faith first. Okay, and it says, and they that cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord? How true? How 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 long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And eventually Yahweh Shah is going to do that. Okay, when it comes to the elect. Okay, starting with the elect. And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season. So that's going into martyrs, okay, that die in the faith. Okay, they're going to be the first ones risen up. Okay, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Okay, like I said, so we're going to be certain martyrs. Okay, so because even back then we have certain members that's of the eventually of the elect that was in the faith that was being martyrs back then. Okay, for preaching Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so as so much today. Once again, everything, reincarnation. Okay, and the elect is back in their lot. Okay, and some of the elect is allotted to be martyrs at this time as well, until everything be fulfilled, till Yahweh Shai redeem the elect as a whole. Okay, starting with the elect. Okay, and eventually throughout time, all Israel. Okay, when the 2/3 come back in the kingdom, but starting with the elect. Okay, those that be martyrs and die in the faith will be the first ones risen up, right along with the rest of the elect that remain to be delivered. And it says, verse 12, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, and the moon became blood. Okay, that's one of the signs. Okay, it is really going into, the nuclear missiles destroying this place, America. Okay, totally. Okay, but it said the sun become black as sackcloth of hair, going into your lunar eclipse. Okay, or the solar eclipse. Okay, and the moon become blood, going into the lunar eclipse. Okay, which are signs of the heaven. Okay, what the Lord told us to look forward to as well, an end time prophecy. And it says, verse 13, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth as a fig tree cast her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Okay, and the stars of heaven that fell on the earth, okay, going to the missiles, okay, destroying this place, America. Okay, that's going to cause a great earthquake. Okay, and it says, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, going into the missiles. Okay, the mushroom cloud. Okay, the aftermath. Okay, when those missiles hit ground zero, and that great wave. Okay, of fire. Okay, going to destroy this place, America, turning into a lake of fire. Okay, what John saw. Okay, and it says, and every mountain and islands were moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth are going to also this place. Okay, leading to these nations losing their power. Okay, when it comes to the mountains. Okay, the governments. Okay, the power structure. Okay, and it says, and the kings of the earth and great men and rich men and chief captains and the mighty men and every bound man and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, going to that Esau, Edom, mainly the elites and the heathen nations. Okay, those that's in league with them. Okay, that's going to escape the missiles as they're going to be in their retreats, such as the bunkers. Okay, mainly the bunkers. They're going to be reserved for captivity, because once Yahweh Shai descend, okay, the elect back here on the earth, okay, out of the chairs, that's when Esau, Edom gonna go into captivity in these heathens, okay, for 1,000-year period, okay, when it comes to these heathens, man. And they say unto the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come. Who shall be able to stand? Okay, so that's the future. Okay, after this place, America destroyed, and throughout the process of time, okay, when the Lord delivered the elect of the nation of Israel, by the way of the chariots. Okay, according to Revelation chapter 21, verse 1, New Jerusalem coming out of the heavens by the way of the chariots, starting with the men. Okay, and that's when we're going to be immortal. Okay, also the hope for elect. We're going to be righteous. Okay, the new covenant being our inward part. We're going to have power to the fullest. Okay, and the heathen nation is going to be gathered together for captivity, starting with these elites, man. Okay, out of the retreats. Okay, for 1,000 years. And after that 1,000-year period, the only nation that's going to be done away with are the biblical Edomites. Okay, Obadiah 1 and 18. So I'm going to go ahead and end the lesson here. And I pray that the lesson will edify. Till next time, Lord willing. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.